What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Home of Comics. This is Brayden and Cole back with a Batman Knightfall review. Part 1 Knightfall just came out today,
Yep.
and we're here to talk about it.
Pretty beast. Pretty
I know.
beast.
It was pretty cool. This film is animated sort of in the same style as a lot of those other DC Universe original animated movies.
Like
Very
what the
long acronym.
director has done.
He did so many
Because
other
he did
ones,
Crisis on Infinite Earths and
the entire trilogy, right?
Green Lantern, Beware My Power,
Oof.
and a few others.
Yeah,
War World.
I haven't watched any of them. I don't think any of them were received well. I think legit none.
No.
Maybe part 1 of Crisis was received well, but the rest were not. I know that for sure. So this guy is batting like 0 for 6 or
This is
something.
Loki his best film.
Yeah, this was pretty awesome. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like sit here and tell you that it's in the top tier of Batman movies because it's simply not. It doesn't have the
No.
scale. It doesn't have the mainstream factor of it all. But I'll tell you what, Anson Mount as Batman, as Bruce Wayne,
Pretty beast.
pretty good.
Yeah, Anson Mount is terrific at both Bruce's voice and Batman's voice.
Yeah, I felt a good switch up. It wasn't crazy. I really felt that he did a good job. Can we talk about Michael Mando as Bane? That was also
Michael
like
Mann did awesome as well.
ridiculous. Like I would argue his performance is better than Tom Hardy's because I don't love what Tom Hardy did
Oh,
with Bane.
yeah, absolutely.
I think Tom Hardy did whatever Nolan wanted him to do with Bane, which I think isn't his fault. Like I don't think that Bane is. I don't mind that Bane. It's just not the Bane that I know. This is the Bane that
Right.
I know. Obviously, we're talking animated. We didn't see him in live action. There's
And we get a
definitely
lot of them here. Like,
yes,
arguably like the same amount of screen time as Batman, maybe, or at least up there, because we see
yeah.
a
They
lot
probably
of
had
his
about the same.
origin, which is like at least maybe 10, 15 minutes long. I feel
It,
like
I
at
think
least
it
it
might have
felt
been
like that.
closer to 20, to be honest.
Yeah,
Uh, they spent a long time on his origin. And I sat there and we were talking about it. I'm like, ah, man, like this is going to be like half the movie. And I started to kind of lose interest in it because I felt that it was going on too long. But this movie is paced in a degree, in a way that like almost all of these animated movies are paced. I don't know how they're able to put in
it's
so much
slower.
content.
It's
They're able to put in
it's
so
like
much content within an hour and 20. It's
and
ridiculous.
the story flows really well too.
Right. Like I was saying, this feels really long. And I wasn't saying it as like, oh, this sucks. I was saying it as they're fitting so much in that hour and 20 and they move at like such a quick pace. It's so
Yeah,
snappy. Um it's well worth like the time that you put into it, which is really great. Like it's awesome when a movie you can say like, yeah, it's an hour and 20, but you're going to get that full hour and 20 experience. And you get that with Nightfall for sure. Um
yeah.
we see so many different Batman rogues.
Yeah, there's like this whole sequence where after Bane has, I guess we didn't put spoiler review, but spoilers ahead. um,
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, yeah, I mean,
we'll put it in the title. We'll put it in the
yeah,
title. Anyways, after Bane breaks open Arkham, we get this whole sequence where Batman's taking down all the rogues. We get
right.
Firefly's in there.
I thought it was Killer Moth for a
Catman,
second. I will say that the Firefly, it was definitely
Mister
Firefly.
Freeze.
There was plenty of fire
Yeah,
around him. I just thought that design was very much Moth-like. I guess they look alike though. I should have probably just been like, oh,
but
yeah,
there's
they
so
look
much
alike.
fire with
No,
a
it's Firefly.
flamethrower.
You're right.
Yeah,
I don't know what Killer Moth. What does Killer Moth do? Like I only know him from the Lego
fly.
games. See, Deadass just fly.
Flies and shoots, bruh.
So he's like Jango Fett and like Boba Fett, but
He's
like
just
as a moth.
yeah, but his wings flap like a moth.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess. I don't know.
In fact, Killer Moth should have been in this movie, bro.
But they might as well have. They put so many guys in. You said Mr. Freeze.
They
By the
did.
way,
They did have a lot.
super small
Mad
critique.
Hatter.
I hate the Mr. Freeze design. I just thought it looked so stupid. But it
It was
doesn't
fine.
matter.
I mean,
He's barely in it.
he
It's
he was in it for like less than 40 seconds.
yeah. Mad Hatter has a little bit of a secondary antagonist role. I will say that
A tiny bit, yeah.
I liked the Mad Hatter in this. I thought that
Yeah.
he was fun. I don't know who voice acted him, but he did a really good job.
hmm
Zaz is in it for a bit. Shout out Sebastian Stan.
Victor Zaz I really did like that
Yeah, it was good.
that story beat, especially with Batman and Renee oh my god,
Montoya.
Montoya. Oh my god. Um, yeah, and it's kind of a special beat in the film that kind of lets you feel how Bruce slash Batman is kind of very
Falling
very off
apart.
his, yeah, he's falling apart essentially, and that's really the main idea of Nightfall, that he's stretching himself too thin, and we see that a lot with the Zaz scene
Yeah,
especially.
so he beats Zaz to a bloody pulp. By the way, this movie is so gory. Absolutely earns the R rating and then some. Uh,
Yeah,
Very reminiscent of like Creature Commandos gore.
anytime Bane kills someone, bro.
Yeah, yeah, that and
Yeah.
also the opening sequence of Azrael. A lot of
Oh
burning,
yeah.
very
Right.
phosphor Doctor Phosphorus esque. I felt with that gore. But it was awesome. Like I love when you can do an animated DC project, animated superhero project. I want to see gore. If it's R, I want to see a lot of like gore, a lot of blood, because you can really push the limits there in ways you can't in live action. And while I'm not a fan of this animation style, I talked about it in my letterbox review. Like, I just thought that the animation is very bland. You disagree, but I also know kind of how they always animate these, and it's the same sort of style every time. Um, but I will say that like the gore effects and stuff, they're very, very good. The
Yeah.
animation for that is really well done.
And I think that's what kind of separates it from a lot of these other animated films,
Yeah,
particularly from the same director, is kind of how they animate the gore. I think it's definitely it definitely stands out on its own.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know if he did Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, but that's probably the only
no, he didn't. I
movie.
don't think so.
That's the only movie I can think of that had that same level of gore to it. And even then, that was also like the finale of the entire universe of the original animated movie universe. And this is just a standalone trilogy as far as I'm aware. There's nothing that it connects to besides itself. So that
Mhm.
kind of already setting that tone. And we don't see a lot of other superheroes. Again, we get Azrael, but all Bat Family heroes. We got Tim Drake is our Robin here. Um,
Yep. And then
I did.
we really sit with Batman and kind of his feelings about um, like especially where he's at with right now with the Robins, because Dick left.
Yeah, they give you a
Um,
really good timeline on that actually.
Jason Todd recently died, so that plays with his dynamic with Tim, which we see, and I really especially like that. And he fires, if you remember towards the end, he fires Tim,
Yeah,
because
and then Tim wants
he
to leave
just
anyway.
because he really thought that that he could have died, and he really did like just escape from Bane in that sequence too. So Bane or Batman is protecting him essentially from
Meeting
death
Jason's fate. Yeah,
by firing him. Yeah,
I'll say too. The sequence with Tim and Bane felt like it was going to be the end. That was quite a long sequence, and
yeah,
it definitely felt like we were at that hour 15 mark. But Tim really does hold his own against Bane. We were talking about it. We were like, oh man, like Tim should not be this strong. And it's just like, well, if you have a Robin that is very weak, he's just gonna die. Like Batman's sidekick needs to be strong as well. Not to the power and level of Batman, but I will say that Tim holds his own much better than Batman, because this Batman that we see fighting Bane towards the end of the movie is so tired, so exhausted. He barely
yeah.
got any rest throughout the night. He went up against all of his greatest
And it's
foes.
because he's emotionally, mentally, and physically all stretched. Like he's at a point of his life where he's very depressed,
Mhm.
and he's really physically beat up, especially after taking on so many foes after Arkham blew up.
Yeah, so
And
many.
we should talk about how intelligent Bane is here, because it really does it well. And to I don't know if this was his intention, but maybe the Arkham the Arkham escape was to drain Batman to his utmost he's just physically beat up to where Bane just easily just defeats him, which he does here.
I think that was the intention because I don't really know why else you would set everyone in Arkham loose. He doesn't seem to be one who's too like I do think he cares about Gotham. Bane does. He seems to have that like I want the city to be stronger. He his mentor, his no, not mentor, his the person he kind of looks up to is Thomas Wayne. And so when he goes back
Right.
to Gotham and he's like, oh, Gotham is a wreck now, he sees that Bruce is kind of the guy in charge, learns that Bruce is Batman.
Yeah.
So I think he, one, wants to drain Bruce. I think, two, he wants to see how the city reacts to all of these different villains being on the loose, because obviously he's not a.
Right.
I don't think Bane likes that. I think he wants to see Gotham prosperous. But two feels that, I mean, three feels like he's the guy who needs to fix it. So I don't know if his next plan is to go ahead and round up all the villains himself, or if ultimately he wants to see, I guess, how the GCPD and likewise other government officials sort of react to the chaos and the anarchy brewing. Uh,
Yeah.
I I think obviously at the end of this movie we see the infamous bat breaking sequence. Batman's out of
Yep.
commission. There's no doubt about it. He is almost dead. Like he might as well be dead at this point. Like he's going to need so much time and care to get back to any sort of
Mhm.
shape. His back is broken. He gets thrown. There's a beautiful sequence towards the end where he gets thrown on the bat signal, and you just see a tattered bat signal up in the sky. And I'm like,
Yeah.
please let us see that shot. That looks so good, and it really was.
And that's how it
I
ends.
think I think where we're heading is part two. Maybe Azrael takes on the role of Batman, and seeing him try to
And
be.
well, he's not going. He's very likely not going to take it in a Batman route. He's going
No,
to
he's gonna
be,
probably kill people.
yeah, he's going to be the anti-hero that he is,
Mhm.
as Azrael. So it's going to be interesting seeing his dynamic with Tim, especially, and if Tim plays a role in trying to clean up the city, because obviously, as Gordon alludes to, like chaos is going to break out because they know Batman is. For all they know, they might think Batman's just dead. So there's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of chaos unloading. So I imagine that Tim. I don't know if Azrael is going to have a. I have admittedly not read the comics here, but I
Me
don't know
neither.
if Azrael is going to play a role in trying to stop Bane or trying to clean up the city with Tim.
I
And
think
if we see Dick come back.
so. Dick's in the credits for the film, and to be fair, everyone in the credits for the film, as far as I could tell, the opening credits were in the movie. Like Riddler was in the movie. He has this sequence
Yeah.
where he gets juiced up on the venom, and it's
Shout out
honestly
David Dasmalchian.
it's a little unmemorable though. Like I just feel like Riddler, especially with the voice actor that we have, like I feel like he didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Essentially had the same role that I believe it was Sal Maroni, the crime lord that Tim and Azrael
Or
sort of
like
interrogate.
Veroni, yeah.
Pretty much as big of a role as him. So I don't know. I feel like they kind of underutilize Riddler, but I'm interested to see if Tim. I think again, Dick's in this. I think Tim might go to Dick in Bloodhaven, and convince Dick to come back to Gotham to help clean up. And maybe that's where Azrael sort of loses his mind. Perhaps he fights the two Robins. They are able to put him down, and uh, at that point, perhaps Batman is ready to go. Part three is now Batman coming back
Yeah.
into the fold. That's what I assume we're doing. Uh, I don't know. The titles are pretty. I think the second one is Night Edge. The third one's Night's End. So like those are very
Yeah. Something like
obscure.
that.
I don't really know what that means. Like they're based off of comics, but like I don't
Yeah,
story wise, you're
it's
not giving me a lot.
I'm really um intrigued to see how the Bat family deals with all of this in part two.
All right, so let's just. I think what we should do now is give sort of our final takes on the movie. Give it the 10 score. Um, I'll go first. I think ultimately this movie is really good, acting wise, direction wise. I think it's fairly solid. I do think that the story, obviously, it's incomplete. We know we go in knowing that it's going to be a trilogy. Uh, a lot of how this movie is going to be is going to depend on the next two. I hate doing that because it is like its own movie, but you're not going to be able to properly. give this your like a final score until you see the next two parts and see how it's paid off. But with that all being said, I think I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's certainly not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. When you talk about the animation style, I think that's where it really falls flat. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, actually, like why that feels much better to you. But that's what I'm going to go with.
Well, for me, it's really the gore and how they deal with the gore that does kind of separate it from a lot of these other films. Other than that, I think the animation style is kind of, yeah, it's kind of within its within these kind of DC animated movies, that doesn't really do much besides when
Right.
it comes to the gore. And that's why I'm not fully on board with the animation. I just find it a little bit interesting to um, that are I find it interesting the with the similarities and differences from other films in this genre. Um, yeah, I think this is a solid film. I like you, especially with these parted films. I need to see how it shapes out because the story is not wrapped up.
Right.
Um, and that kind of takes it away a bit in a sense with my rating. And that's kind of how I deal with all of these parted films. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Hopefully, it continues with its strong themes and the story in itself. But yeah, I would give this a 7 out of 10 as well.
All right, cool. So we're unanimously giving this a 7.
Yep.
Which that might be the first time we since we started doing dual reviews that's actually happened. But we have no confirmation of when part 2 or part 3 comes out. My best guess is that they both come out next year. That seems likely. Probably one in the spring, one in the fall. So probably about a year from now we'll have it all finished up. Um, but yeah, that's our thoughts on Batman Nightfall Part 1 Nightfall. What a dramatic name. If you like the movie, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts. And we'll see you guys in the next Nightfall review, hopefully in the spring. All right, take care,
Peace.
guys. Peace.